Hi, I'm Christine Russo, and welcome to What Just Happened. Today, we welcome Barbara Thau, Editorial Director, Features of Co. by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Barbara.
So the chamber launched Co 5 years ago, but in New York. So because we're totally pure journalism, we're not. As I like to say, we're of the chamber, but not by the chamber, so to speak. And so we're really just our own publication. And when they launched it, they said, let's come to New York and staff it with New York people, media nerds like me.
Congratulations on having the first ever America's Top Small Business Awards Gala. Last week, I believe, there were 15,000 applicants, 7 regional finalists, and 1 winner.
Thank you. Yeah.
You hosted a panel with Meta and Walmart on how they're supporting small businesses. So let's get right into it. What
Sure.
happened at the event and how was your panel?
They were terrific. What inspired that panel were all the stories that I was writing or assigning on how the shifting world of how big businesses are helping small businesses scale. And we're seeing this as part of really a larger trend that we're seeing across business industry. So we are seeing whether it's Walmart with its new Walmart business platform, or Meta with its marketplace platform. We're just seeing this trend, and it's coming to a head of big business really looking not just to as a charity effort, but looking to small businesses for their own growth on their marketplaces and as other vehicles to if they're offering marketing, if they're offering marketplaces. So that's how that was the inspiration for that. And so at Walmart, just for the first time, launched Walmart Business in January of this year. I don't know if that many people knew about it. Ashley Hupika, who heads it up, who was on my panel, was talking about how it's really leveraging the economies of scale and Walmart's purchasing power and passing that on to the small business. And it really is part of their ecosystem. And Meta is doing a number of different things, be it their ad platform or their own shopping platform, but at the same time offering small business community and offering growth via all their Meta's Facebook, its Instagram, and the WhatsApp platform. So business messaging is huge. Facebook Reels, as video becomes a bigger avenue for growth. So these are ways that these platforms are helping small businesses grow. And it's kind of like as we kind of coming into an interesting point where DTC brands, right, in the past 10 years or 20 years, growing, but it's really expensive. Customer acquisition costs are huge. So as that happens, we're seeing more of these tech platforms, be it Google, be it Meta, be it or retail. And it's funny to call Walmart even a retailer. It doesn't quite capture it these days. Are finding ways to step in and help small businesses and startups grow in turn, it's also a growth opportunity for them. So that was a long answer.
Well, I think there's a lot of chatter around it, but it's good to see there's meat behind the chatter. How was the gala?
The gala was terrific. We were really rigorous in how we approached the process in terms of these small businesses needed to be not only solvent, but growing and marketing in ways that are meaningful and just solid businesses.
In terms of what's kind of the headwinds for small businesses, you've got inflation, workforce strategies, retail crime. What are you hearing out there? You've got your ear to the ground. What's happening? Is it like, woe is me? It's non-overcomable, or is it like, okay, it's retail, there's always something, or somewhere in the middle?
I think that all the things you said, obviously inflation, that seems to have been a little bit, it's lessening that. And we're seeing that, the holiday season is always the bellwether, right? So we're seeing that consumers are, and I feel like people say this every year, but they're looking for deals. That's really what I went to a Salesforce holiday presentation a couple weeks ago, and that's really what they're seeing. And retailers are responding in kind. And, small businesses, there's still that post-pandemic mindset of local. the interest in local, the interest in small, like small is big. So leaning into that, obviously there's Small Business Saturday coming up, and I think that this is something that small businesses are leaning into, and also year round, and consumers are open to it more than ever because of the pandemic, or partially because of the pandemic. And we're just in this movement of appreciating local, small, curated, which is an opportunity for small businesses. Retail is so interesting because it's not just about what we buy, it's about how we think, it's about cultural trends, it's about social trends. So that I just is endlessly interesting. I do something regularly called My Mentor, where we're talking, this is fun. We're talking to an executive about the mentor or mentors that have impacted their work, and how that impact looks today. So like show me your imprints, your mentors imprint today. So we've had like people from Pepsi, senior executives from Microsoft or from Accenture. So that's always a fun thing to do. That's a regular feature we do. I also do how did you land Walmart? How'd you land? So that's a regular thing to do. DEI, talk about, there's another regular feature on DEI, but not just DEI, but what are the diversity strategies that have driven real results? So just always want to like tie it into the return on investment, and not just let people go on about all the great they're doing. What's the return on investment for what you're doing?
So you're not just small business focused, like you're,
No, I mean, I think that that's what my feature content is a little different than the overall content, because I think of it, since I have a big business background, my
yeah.
job is to bridge the gap. That's how I think of my job. My job is to bring the Walmarts, like Ashley Hupka, who is the head of Walmart business, to speak to the big businesses and what you can learn from what the big businesses are doing. Because you really, uh, any business, in order to understand the landscape, you need to see who's driving the industry, right? Or driving industries. So that's where I come in. It has to be of meaning and relevance to small businesses, but that's where, getting the access to executives who can bring their knowledge, their expertise, their trend insights to a small business audience, to a startup audience, is what I'm, what we hope to do.
I used to have this saying to, what did I used to say? To help small do big things.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it was a little more like it was a little more polished, but basically
No.
I did spend a lot of time seeking solutions that made some of the features of shopping in a big store available and affordable and adaptable for a small business, like if you wanted same day shipping, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
there are companies that you can contact that are not
Mm.
incredibly expensive, and you can be as competitive as a Target if you do that. So that sounds to me where your sweet spot is, the intersection where small can learn that there are options to compete with big.
Absolutely. And that was a lot of the underlying theme of the summit during our conference. Sort of the big, how it's not just how big businesses are helping small businesses scale, but what's out there, and how you can democratize the playing field for your business, or what you need to know, right? Like, knowledge is power. And once again, there isn't this necessarily always a chasm anymore. I used to think about how much big businesses want the credibility of small, as younger consumers are interested and have come up with a bunch of these direct to consumer brands, as there's been this democratization of the marketing playing field, as young people go on TikTok, like brands have been made on TikTok, so small has its own cachet, right? So how do we tap into that? So small has its own cool fact, and you're seeing these companies, and I'm thinking about this more as you talk about that they actually have divisions. They have accelerators within their companies, right? To varying degrees of success. Where we have, Amazon has an accelerator program. They have Google has a Latino accelerator, Black business accelerator. I was in Amazon's in Seattle in September, which was fascinating. They had their accelerator conference, and it was all about the brands, their sellers, on what they're doing to talk about democratizing the playing field. They rolled out supply chain by Amazon because they're noticing that their sellers, their third party sellers, are becoming, whereas 10 years ago, a lot of them were resellers. Now more of them are brand owners. So they needed to up their game in the supply chain and offer end-to-end supply chain solutions. And then AI is another big thing, so they're offering AI fueled product listings to up to the performance of how these products sell, to offering that to small businesses. It's a changing world. Yeah.
Again, but the emphasis on what you're writing about and
Mhm.
what you're focused on is the intersection of those two worlds.
Yeah.
And that is perfectly goes back to how we started this, which is you were at the gala. It was celebrating a winner of America's Top Small Business, but you were on stage with those huge businesses, Meta and Walmart. I mean, and exposing the audience, and
Yeah.
you can see that interview, which I'd be happy to link in when we're done with this in the content, how the big companies are there and what resources they can be for small businesses. So
Yeah.
I think it's a great place to kind of wrap it up. And as I said, I can link that interview. I personally enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Thank you.
the content, the enthusiasm, the real passion, which is really what small business is all about. It takes a tremendous amount of passion. So if you know there are big businesses that really care as well,
Yeah.
well, your publication is a great place to get that information.
I hope so. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Barbara.
Christine, thank you so much.